The modern dental industry generates $150 billion annually, yet tooth decay and gum disease are at an all-time high across the Western world. A stark contrast exists in traditional Amish communities, where individuals maintain strong, functional teeth for a lifetime without ever sitting in a modern dental chair or using commercial fluoride. For over 200 years, they have relied on a homemade paste costing less than $1. And the reason you have never heard of it has everything to do with who profits when your teeth fail. A single dental bill can shatter a family's monthly budget. In the United States, the price of a root canal followed by a crown now runs between $2,000 and $3,000 per tooth. Even a routine cleaning, known as prophylaxis, averages $100 to $200. These numbers are not outliers. According to the American Dental Association's latest fee surveys, these costs are the norm for private pay patients across the country. For millions of Americans, the decision to treat a cavity or endure the pain is often a calculation of what they can afford to lose. Behind these prices lies a vast consolidated industry. The modern dental economy has evolved into a network of corporate dental service organizations called DSOS. These are not the small-town practices of the past. DSOS now manage thousands of clinics under unified brands, negotiating bulk supply contracts, controlling staff wages, and standardizing treatment plans. Their profit margins hover between 12% and 20%, with staff salaries alone consuming 40% of operating costs. The result is relentless pressure to maximize revenue per patient. Every X-ray, filling, or crown is not just a medical intervention. It is a business transaction, shaped by the economics of scale and the demands of shareholders. For the average household, the impact is immediate and personal. Insurance rarely covers the full cost of major procedures. Out-of-pocket expenses for a single crown can exceed a week's wages. Many families put off preventive care, hoping to avoid the next bill, only to face more complex and expensive problems down the line. The cycle repeats. Deferred cleanings lead to cavities, which lead to root canals, which lead to crowns or extractions. Each step deepens dependence on a system that profits from intervention, not prevention. The market for over-the-counter dental products is no less commercial. Toothpaste, mouthwash, whitening strips, all promise protection or improvement, yet their combined sales add another $12 billion to $15 billion each year to the industry's bottom line. The ingredients, synthetic surfactants like sodium lauryl sulfate, artificial sweeteners, and chemical flavorings, are engineered for mass production and shelf appeal, not for long-term biological repair. The result is a culture where oral health is both a commodity and a recurring expense. This is the modern dental trap, a system where high costs, commercialized products, and recurring procedures have become the status quo. For those seeking a way out, the question is no longer just about treatment, but about the very structure of care and who stands to benefit when teeth are kept healthy or allowed to fail. In the shadow of soaring dental bills, another force quietly shapes what ends up in the nation's medicine cabinets. Dental economics and culture are at stake. The rise of the modern dental industry did not happen by accident. Behind every tube of toothpaste and every dental procedure lies a network of economic incentives, legal strategies, and relentless marketing campaigns designed to favor profitable, patentable products over simple, natural remedies. Industry power reshaped what we accept as normal. In the early 20th century, the rules of oral care began to change. Pepsodent's 1923 campaign, with its promise of a beautiful smile, did more than sell toothpaste. It sold an idea. Advertisements claimed that only their proprietary micron powder could remove the invisible film others missed. Colgate followed suit, launching the first toothpaste in a collapsible tube in 1896, and by 1930, saturating radio airwaves with messages about cavity-fighting fluoride. Crest entered the market in 1955, touting itself as the first fluoride toothpaste and painting traditional tooth powders as relics of a less enlightened era. The message was clear. Modern chemistry, not kitchen table remedies, was the path to health and status, but the power of advertising was only the beginning. The real moat was built with patents and regulation. Fluoride compounds, abrasive silica, and flavor systems were not just ingredients, but intellectual property, guarded by legal filings that locked out competitors. In 1938, the FDA's new definition of toothpaste as a dentifrice with an active ingredient for plaque control effectively sidelined unpatented mineral-based powders from the market. Without the possibility of patent protection, baking soda and eggshell formulas could not compete for shelf space or insurance reimbursement. Patents and rules reshaped the market. To maintain this advantage, the industry turned to the corridors of power. Between 2015 and 2024, Colgate-Palmolive, Procter & Gamble, and GlaxoSmithKline spent a combined $12 million lobbying Congress and federal agencies. Their aim was to preserve fluoride's status as the gold standard ingredient and to limit regulatory recognition of alternative natural remedies. Legislative filings reveal a steady stream of meetings with committees overseeing health and consumer safety, all while consumer groups struggled to get herbal or mineral powders considered in oral health guidelines. Lobbying helped lock in the status quo. Legal action reinforced the boundaries. In 2022, the case of Rogers versus Colgate-Palmolive brought allegations that the company suppressed evidence on herbal anti-caries agents. The matter settled quietly, but it sent a clear signal to smaller players. Challenging the dominant brands could mean years in court. Even at the level of the dental office, the system is engineered for brand loyalty. Dental service organizations negotiate preferred brand contracts, obligating clinics to use specific commercial consumables. This practice, documented in industry trade publications, leaves little room for practitioners who might wish to offer low-cost natural alternatives. Brand loyalty is built into the supply chain. The result is a marketplace where the most affordable, time-tested remedies are not only absent from the shelves, they are invisible by design. Advertising, patent law, regulatory definitions, and political spending all work in concert to erase simple mineral powders and botanical pastes from public consciousness. The economic stakes are enormous, but the cultural loss may be even greater as generations grow up believing that health comes only in a branded tube, never from a handful of natural ingredients. Across the rural heartlands of Ohio, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, Amish communities maintain daily routines that seem untouched by the world of dental clinics and mass-market toothpaste. Yet field studies reveal a striking contradiction. Amish adults and children experience some of the highest rates of untreated dental disease in North America, despite sidestepping processed foods and chemical additives that define much of the modern American diet. In 1988, Dr. Bagramian's survey of 371 Amish adults in southwestern Michigan found that 64% had at least one untreated cavity, and 55% suffered from moderate to severe periodontal disease with pocket depths over 4 millimeters. Later studies confirmed these patterns. Among children, the Ohio Mobile Dental Unit visits to 12 Amish schools from 2014 to 2017 recorded a mean DMFT score, decayed missing or filled primary teeth, of 4.2 per child. 38% of the children were considered high risk for cavities, and nearly a quarter required urgent extractions during annual visits. These numbers only hint at the daily realities behind them. Oral care in Amish households is shaped by tradition, thrift, and a conscious distance from mainstream consumerism. Most families brush once a day, usually after supper, using soft bristled brushes, sometimes homemade, sometimes shared. Commercial toothpaste is rare. Instead, families rely on a homemade powder, typically a blend of baking soda, salt, and occasionally dried herbs. This powder, handed down through generations, costs pennies and contains no synthetic foaming agents or artificial sweeteners. The absence of sodium lauryl sulfate, a common irritant in commercial pastes, reflects a deliberate preference for familiar natural ingredients. Diet is both a source of protection and a source of risk. Amish meals center on homegrown foods, raw milk, whole grain bread, pork, and garden vegetables. Processed sugar is limited by the rhythms of farm life, not by strict avoidance. Still, desserts, pies, preserves, and sweetbreads are daily staples, often sweetened with honey or molasses. The result is a carbohydrate-rich diet that, combined with infrequent brushing and limited access to professional cleanings, encourages plaque and decay. Access to dental care is shaped by geography and economics. Clinics may be 30 miles away, reachable only by horse-drawn buggy or with help from non-Amish neighbors. Without insurance, even basic dental work can equal a week's wages. Cultural values reinforce self-reliance and privacy, discouraging routine visits, unless pain becomes severe. In some districts, extractions are performed at home or by community-trained tooth pullers, bypassing formal dentistry. Despite these challenges, the Amish have built a pragmatic system of oral care. Disease rates remain high, but regular home hygiene helps many retain their teeth. Where mobile dental units and culturally sensitive clinics intervene, outcomes improve. A homemade powder costing less than $1 can last months, while commercial products and professional care remain out of reach for many. Each daily routine reflects a careful balance between risk, tradition, and necessity. In Amish homes, the tooth powder recipe is as familiar as the morning chores. Baking soda, eggshells, and a trace of botanicals, ingredients so ordinary they could be found in any kitchen drawer, are measured and mixed by hand, a practice passed quietly from parent to child, a small tradition. The cost is almost negligible, less than $1 for a batch that can last a family for months. There are no tubes, no labels, no promises of whitening or sparkle, just a jar of white powder, as much a part of daily life as bread or soap. At its core is sodium bicarbonate, known to most as baking soda. Its function is chemical, not cosmetic. When dissolved in saliva, baking soda's mild alkalinity, pH near 9, neutralizes acids produced by oral bacteria. These acids, left unchecked, wear away enamel and set off the slow destruction of teeth. Laboratory studies confirm that a simple baking soda solution can raise oral pH enough to halt demineralization, matching the effect of many commercial toothpastes. In the Amish powder, this property is harnessed without fanfare, a quiet defense against decay. The second ingredient, eggshell, is less obvious, but just as crucial. After boiling and drying, the shells are ground to a fine, almost chalk-like powder. Eggshells are over 95% calcium carbonate, a mineral nearly identical to the structure of tooth enamel. When brushed onto teeth in an alkaline environment, this calcium can be absorbed, helping to restore minerals lost to acid. Scientific research on calcium carbonate powders shows that, under the right conditions, they can return a significant degree of hardness to enamel damaged by acid exposure. In Amish kitchens, eggshells that might otherwise be discarded become a source of protection, transformed by tradition into something quietly powerful. A third element, sometimes added, brings both flavor and function. Myrrh resin, clove, or peppermint leaf are used in small amounts, not for sweetness, but for their antimicrobial effects. Myrrh disrupts the cell membranes of Streptococcus mutans, the main culprit in tooth decay. Clove offers eugenol, a natural pain reliever, and antibacterial. Peppermint, rich in menthol, reduces plaque and freshens breath. These botanicals, drawn from apothecary traditions, add a layer of defense without synthetic additives or artificial flavors. The economics are as striking as the chemistry. Baking soda costs less than 10 cents per half cup. Eggshells are simply saved from daily meals. A pinch of myrrh or clove adds only a few cents. The total cost for a batch, enough for months of brushing, rarely exceeds $1. Families gather to mix the powder, storing it in glass jars, sharing it across generations. The result is a formula that is simple, affordable, and rooted in both chemistry and tradition, a tangible alternative waiting quietly on a farmhouse shelf. The human mouth is a battleground where chemistry decides the fate of teeth. Enamel, the hardest tissue in the body, is built from tightly packed crystals of hydroxyapatite, a lattice of calcium and phosphate. But this fortress dissolves when acids lower the oral pH below a critical threshold. Laboratory studies led by dental researchers like Dr. John Featherstone and Dr. Jacob Ten-Cate pinpoint this tipping point at pH 5.5. Below that, minerals leach out of enamel, leaving it vulnerable to decay. Above it, the process can reverse. The homemade Amish powder centered on baking soda and eggshell acts directly on this front line. Baking soda, with its pH near 9, is more than a cleaning agent. It is a chemical shield. When brushed on teeth, it neutralizes acids from bacterial metabolism almost instantly. pH strip tests in clinical settings show a rapid shift from acidic to neutral, halting the demineralization cascade before it begins. Dr. Featherstone's controlled experiments reveal that even a mild alkaline rinse can raise oral pH enough to stop enamel loss within minutes of a sugar challenge. Eggshell powder supplies the next ingredient, bioavailable calcium. In the presence of an alkaline environment, calcium ions from ground eggshell are released and redeposited onto the enamel surface. Scanning electron microscopy images from remineralization trials show new mineral layers forming on early carious lesions after repeated exposure to calcium carbonate slurries. These findings echo the results of Dr. Ten-Cate's remineralization models, where simple mineral pastes restored up to 35% of lost hardness in just 1 week. Yet this repair process has limits. The window for reversal is narrow. Once decay penetrates past the enamel, remineralization alone cannot rebuild the inner tooth. Still, the evidence is clear. By raising pH and delivering minerals at the right moment, a powder costing less than $1 can interrupt the earliest stages of decay, offering a scientific foundation for a tradition long dismissed by modern dentistry. In the world of oral health, the battle is not fought by minerals alone. The third ingredient in the Amish powder, botanical defense, brings a different kind of defense, one that targets the bacteria at the root of decay. Myrrh, a resin tapped from Commiphora trees, has been used in apothecary traditions for centuries. Modern phytochemistry confirms what herbalists long suspected. Laboratory assays show that myrrh extracts, rich in sesquiterpenes and terpenoids, disrupt the cell membranes of Streptococcus mutans, the primary bacterium responsible for dental caries. Minimum inhibitory concentration tests reveal that even a 0.5% myrrh solution can suppress S. mutans growth by more than 70% in vitro. Clove, another staple in the Amish blend, contains eugenol, a compound with well-documented antibacterial and analgesic properties. In controlled studies, eugenol demonstrates a minimum inhibitory concentration against S. mutans as low as 0.04 milligrams per milliliter. This effect is not just theoretical. Dental researchers have measured significant reductions in bacterial viability and plaque formation when eugenol is introduced, rivaling the effectiveness of some commercial antiseptics. Peppermint, while better known for its flavor, contributes menthol and menthone, which together suppress biofilm formation and reduce the metabolic activity of oral pathogens. Researchers who study these botanicals describe a multi-layered antimicrobial effect. Myrrh weakens bacterial walls, eugenol interferes with energy production, and menthol disrupts cell signaling. The result is a hostile environment for the microbes that cause decay and gum disease. Unlike synthetic antibacterials, these plant-derived compounds do not trigger the same resistance patterns or disrupt the broader oral microbiome. Instead, they act as targeted guardians, amplifying the chemical and mineral defenses already at work in the powder. Taken together, the Amish formula is more than a sum of its parts. The botanicals add a scientific foundation for microbial control, completing a system that neutralizes acid, restores minerals, and keeps harmful bacteria in check, all without the need for synthetic additives or costly interventions. Today, the $150 billion dental industry continues to drive dependence on costly, synthetic solutions, while a $1 blend of alkaline minerals and botanical antibacterials quietly persists on the margins. As dental bills soar past $3,000 per procedure, the question is no longer about access, but about agency. The science is clear. True oral health may never have required a patent. Your next decision shapes the future of your own mouth.